folks, welcome to another one of our Firewire reviews. This is a brand new model that's just come in called the Hellfire model. Very similar to Spitfire in its outline plan shape, but a lot more refined through the nose and the tail. So, very similar step deck tail through the back as a Spitfire, same diamond tail as well. This tail shape, nice and thin on the edge, gives you good bite through turns, gives you good control in hollow surf, but also on the inner section gives you a lot more width through the tail. It's going to make it more forgiving at slower speeds, allow you to still ride off the back foot a bit when you're not quite up to speed. So it just allows you to complete them cutbacks and bottom turns when you're not quite going as fast as you should be. So it's going to make it perform good in average surf. The diamond tail, very similar to the Spitfire as I mentioned before. It's going to reduce your turning circle, reduce the turning radius of the board. It just allows for slightly snappier, quicker turns in the pocket as well. So it's a good overall tail shape for a board that's designed to go in a variety of conditions. Up in the nose, a lot thinner than what we've seen previous on some of these Dominator models and the Spitfire. So this is far more refined. It's going to go better in decent hollow surf. Loads of rocker, a lot of tail flip in the last 4 inches of the nose. That's just going to stop that digging in and hollow takeoffs. The width is going to make it a lot easier to duck dive as well. So from this point up, it's essentially a shortboard in the nose. Underneath, we've actually got a bit of a spine running through the board. There's a real deep double concave, which is really accentuated through the tail. And you might be able to see it if I revolve the board a bit. That starts in here. We've got a deep scoop through the underside of the board, at its deepest just through or just in front of the front fins, and it maintains that scoop right through to the tip of the tail. And what that's doing, it's creating speed and drive. It's getting air under the board, it's forcing water through these channels out through the back of the fins, which is creating your thrust. You'll get really good drive through your turns, and also the ability to actually pivot the board from rail to rail. That centre spine is going to allow the board to rock very easily from rail to rail. So 2 things you'll get: really good control and drive when you've got the board hard on a rail doing a hard bottom turn, but also manoeuvrability at slower speeds in smaller surf as well. So it really is an overall good package for a variety of conditions. We probably recommend this to a few different customers. They come from 5'2" all the way up to 7 foot, and they're going to go up in size by 2 inches. So there's a lot of boards out there for different customers. For the heavyweights, you're obviously going to be 6'6" plus, and for the lighter surfers, you can start from 5'2". I would imagine 5'6", 5'8" up to 6'4" would be the best-selling models in this board. Really good as part of a quiver. If you've got a grovel board and you've got a high-performance step-up board, you might have a 5'2" to 5'5" little quad fin or a 20 for really small waves, 6'6" step-up for big stuff. This would fit really well in between those boards as part of a quiver. Alternatively, if you're kind of an intermediate to advanced surfer and you're looking for that one board that you can ride most of the time and really get used to, then again this would be one of my choices for sure. It's got the ability to grovel in weaker, smaller surf. We're talking 2 foot plus really. It's not going to go that well in smaller conditions than that. But it will work really well up to say 5 to 6 foot. It's still got the ability to be out in decent waves. With a thinner nose, it's going to be easier to control at speed. You've got your duck dive ability, and also with a step deck you've still got really good bite. Razor sharp rails as always through the tail. It's going to allow you to track really well in strong offshore winds and get good bite through choppy sections and in hollow surf as well. Same as the last few releases from Firewire, you've got body fin options that come with SF4s. You can ride the front SF4 fin and one of the single double fold fins in the back as a thruster setup as well. So play around with fins. I think you'll find the quad fins will go well in smaller surf, but you'll still get good drive in big waves with that setup as well. The thruster setup is always going to be more forgiving and very easy to get on with as well, but at least you've got the options there. Overall, cracking board. Really highly recommended this. It's got a lot more legs for better quality surf than the Dominator and the Spitfire, but it's still got the ability to ride in average surf in the right hands. So it really is a cracking East Coast board and a good UK board at that as well. It's going to make the most of those average days where it's not quite good enough for a high performance shortboard. But you can still drag it out and get it going. When it's 2 to 3 foot, it will still fly. So probably one of the most versatile boards we've seen yet, even more so than the alternator, which this is kind of taken over from, if you like. So cracking board, highly recommended. Thanks.